You're listening to the Final Say Radio Show, a Rappaport Media production, with your host Brett Rappaport and co-host John Rappaport.
It looks like we're going to have our wonderful guest joining us any second now. I'm very happy to have Anne-Marie Murrell, who's with the Politichicks, the National Director, Editor-in-Chief. I was so happy to see you at CPAC, and boy, I've never seen somebody work so hard, but welcome to the Final Say Radio Show.
Well, thank you very much, and it takes a workaholic to know one, doesn't it?
It sure does. Everywhere I looked, no matter where I was, I saw Anne-Marie running around. You were interviewing somebody, you were talking with somebody, you had so much going on. It's incredible how much you do.
Well, yeah, we've got to get out there. We've got a lot of work. I want grandchildren, and my son will not get married and have children until the world's a better place. So I'm in a hurry.
Oh, and my gosh, we have a lot to do.
Yes.
I'm very. Oh, by the way, I have to congratulate you for your nomination for the People's Choice Award. That's just awesome.
Oh, thank you. We were honored to be on that list with so many amazing bloggers. That was a shock for us, quite frankly. But yeah, I am so proud of what my Politichicks Nation has done. These writers and bloggers and reporters, they're out there just knocking down the walls all over the United States. So it's them. It's not me. It's these wonderful Politichick women that are working with us. So I'm honored to be in their presence.
Yeah, well,
including me, of course.
Oh yes, I think you're all great. To be honest with you, everyone that I've met and just seeing what you do and just meeting you in person and working with you, I think you guys are all fantastic, and I think you're definitely leading us in the right direction.
Well,
now that being said, I want to say this: we are unfortunately post-election. And unfortunately, re-electing someone who I've never imagined could have been elected in the first place. But that being said, where do you think we're headed right now in the debate as a nation with regards to policy?
Wow. That's the kind of question that makes my stomach just drop, because it's hard. It's hard for me to be optimistic right now when you consider all of the people that Obama is putting in place to run our country, with John Brennan and Chuck Hagel and John Kerry. I mean, it's a progressive's dream. It's a conservative's nightmare. And unfortunately, with these kind of people in place, again, it's very hard for me to be optimistic right now. The only hope we have is in the 2014 elections, quite frankly, just to try to get some people in there with backbones and with the courage to step up and to speak out against these people. But then again, the pessimism comes in, because with a president who believes in executive order more than he does the Constitution, it's a little daunting. It's frightening. I want to be the big cheerleader for America right now and be encouraging, and I am. But yeah, we've got a lot of work ahead of us, for sure.
You brought up two interesting things there. One is the 2014 election, and I agree with you. I think that could be the game changer. And the reason I say that is, God forbid we lose the House, I think the game's over. But if we're able to make significant gains in the Senate and at least balance out the Senate and be able to hold off the assault from this administration for at least the final 2 years, and please, God, listen to me on this one, find a conservative president in 2016.
Yeah.
And that would be really, the positive thoughts to think about. I want to give you one positive, though, because Dr. Ben Carson, now, I'm not necessarily calling for him to run for president, because I don't know that he has the experience yet for the position. But certainly this man makes as much sense as anyone. And I think, I call him the newcomer, but I know he's been around for a while, but he's a newcomer with regards to his popularity. But I think a voice like his is what we're looking for right now. Isn't that the case?
Well, Now, I'm kind of torn on Dr. Carson, too. I met him at CPAC. I interviewed him, and actually I posted it on my page today, the interview that we did with him, with Morgan Brittany and I interviewed him. But unfortunately, Dr. Carson is really not a very strong Second Amendment man. He said straight up that he does not think that cities need assault weapons, and he's not really strong in that direction, which I think we really have got to have somebody extremely who understands why we need everything we've got regarding our Second Amendment. But other than that, he's an incredible man. He's wonderful. He's a brilliant speaker. He's able to convey a lot of things that all of us wish we could say. And I think that there's absolutely a place for him in the conservative world, for sure. Yeah.
I agree with that. See, I wasn't aware of his stance on the Second Amendment, to be honest with you. And that's a good point. But like I said, I'm not sure I would be calling for him to run for president anyway. But I'm certainly excited for him getting involved, because we really need somebody who's willing to just openly discuss the issues and have the conversation. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
This president,
and especially with unguarded, he was. When you speak unguarded, that's my favorite kind of person. Those are the types of people that are going to get elevated every single time. The Ted Cruzes and the Marco Rubios, all these people that will say what we need to hear are the ones that we'll all support 100%. And we don't have to agree with all of them 100%, but man, it's rare to have someone that will really stand up for us.
That's right. It's funny you mentioned Ted Cruz, and I have to give credit where credit's due, but all of my good friends in Texas who were aware of Ted Cruz as he was just starting his campaign to run for Senate told me how wonderful he was, and that they really thought that he was going to be an impressive person coming into the Senate. And boy, he's definitely, I think, shown himself to be more than what we would have expected.
Yeah, I was so proud of him, the way he stood up to Dianne Feinstein. I'm a native Texan. I'm a fourth-generation Texan, so of course I'm very proud of him. And I also live here in California, so I deal with this Feinstein garbage all the time. When she tried to talk him down by once again telling, I've been in Senate for 500 years, so you need to bow down to me, he didn't do it, but he did it in a classy, respectful kind of way. He repeated his question to her about gun rights, about the Constitution. Big Ted Cruz fan.
I am too, and quite frankly, I wouldn't have known all that much about him if it wasn't for our good friends in Texas telling us about him for the last I don't know, it's got to be like a year and a half to 2 years now. So we're glad to have people like him joining the Senate, and I appreciate somebody who's willing to be a little feisty and challenge the establishment, if you will. Because my next thing I want to bring up to you would be that of leadership. And quite frankly, I'm not all that thrilled with the leadership of either party right now for two reasons. One is I think they're too willing to negotiate and compromise on principles, but I think that they also spend too much time with political banter and nonsense and less time sitting down at the table and really working towards real-life reality solutions for the problems that this country's facing.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's why our side is so divided. And when you think, I wrote an article once, and it showed a graph or some visuals, and it showed a triangle. Democrats represent a triangle. They have a large base. You can call them progressives or Democrats or whatever you want to call them, but their goal is to elect Democrats, period. They don't, when it comes to that, they don't argue, they don't quibble, they don't talk about, I'm a Tea Party, I'm this. They elect who they say they're going to elect. Our side is more like, if I'm from Texas and I used to step on sticker birds, there are these little stickers that have points all over them, and they're round, they're horrible. Our side is more like a sticker. We're splintered. We've got Tea Party Patriots, we've got Tea Party Net, we've got Tea Party Express, we've got Libertarians. We're called 500 different names, and we get so torn up and so confused about everything that we forget that we need to elect someone with an R in front of their name. And it's frustrating because if we keep going down that path, we're never going to win another election. No one is perfect. That's one of the most frustrating things for me, that we're becoming so fractured and everybody's drawing their own lines in the sand on our side, while the other side, again, has one goal: to elect a Democrat, period. And that's why they keep winning. And we keep watering down our message. We don't need to change our message. Our message is perfect. But bending over backwards to try to be more like a Democrat is not going to win us elections either. And we've been seeing that loud and clear.
I agree with everything you just said. But the only thing I could offer is the fact that, we have leadership that, and they're pushing towards this, like, moderation, if you will. And in my opinion, if you're going to give in to all the demands of the Democrats and meet them halfway, because halfway today would be like extreme radical 10, 15 years ago, then you may as well just all join a Democratic Party and we'll be a one-party system.
Exactly. Right. I don't want to be. I've been a Democrat. I know the way they think. I don't want to go back in time. I don't want to be one of those. I don't want to be Democrat light. And that is exactly what it seems like they're trying to they really think that, if we just agree to amnesty and if we let 11 million illegals in, they're going to vote for us. No, they're not. Not one of the 11 million plus are going to vote for a Republican anyway. So, it doesn't work. We've got to stand up straight. We've got to stand up tall and proud and make sure people know who we are. But we've also got to find out, it's like we've got to get past this identity crisis thing we're going through and let people like Ted Cruz represent who we are. Louis Gohmert, another Texan, love that man. He's also fearless. He will speak out and say what we need to hear. Michelle Bachmann, wonderful woman. She's fearless. She'll stand. She was one of the only people that stood up against the debt ceiling the last time. When everyone else wanted to go home, she still stood there and said, no way. So we've got some really good ones, but we've got to show them support nationwide. It doesn't help if it's just their own states helping them these days. They all need all of our support, no matter where we are.
That's right. And you mentioned Louis Gohmert, who we've had on the program probably as much or more than any member of Congress outside of Congressman Phil Rowe from Texas. Yeah. And, boy, you want to talk about somebody who just speaks his mind and says it the way it is. Yep. That is Louis Gohmert. And he's a patriot, by the way. And I know
absolutely.
He takes a lot of flack, but we need to get behind him and, pull our support from some of these other fellows.
Yeah. That's one thing that I've been trying to encourage. I told people, if I was standing right next to John Boehner and on the other side was someone like California Assemblyman Tim Donnelly, I would purposely say, do not even show the camera one time. Don't even let John Boehner get on my camera for a second. I'm going to talk to this man over here who's really trying to do something for our country. That's what we need to do. Just turn the cameras off of these people. I wrote an article called Bald Britney GOP people, because it was the same thing. When Britney Spears went nuts and shaved her head, every mother in America was saying, stop, get her off the camera. You're going to kill her. Well, these people are killing the Republican Party forever. No one is going to respect them as long as these people get the microphones like John McCain and John Boehner and people. We've got to shine the light on the diamonds and stop showing the light on the candles that burned out a long time ago.
Yeah, it's fun. You brought up John McCain, and I was mentioning before that I thought we need to revisit the idea of term limits for all offices. In fact, I think it's so crazy today that I almost want to see a one-term president so they can't run for re-election and waste America's time for 2 years. I want to see maybe no more than 5 terms in Congress and 2 terms in the Senate, because someone like John McCain should never be back in the Senate. I mean, at this point, he's used up his street cred.
Oh, yeah. And
long
as
ago.
Much as, I know. Everybody says, well, I respect him as a war hero. Fine. Respect him as a war hero. Don't allow that man to speak for the Republican Party ever again. Put a muzzle on him. I mean, I believe in the First Amendment, but dang, he's the only reason why I might say let's just fudge a little bit on the First Amendment. Just in John McCain's case, it's almost like he's been paid off by the left, and he has just gone off into the dark side, and his I don't know what's
going on here. And and by the way, to be fair, I respect Charlie Rangel for having served his country in Korea, but I don't respect hardly anything he's done as a politician. And in fact, I think he's violated laws that he should be in jail for, because if you and I did the same thing as he has, we would be in prison.
Of course. Same with Maxine Waters. I mean, there's a laundry list of Democrats with criminal record, with tax evasion and all kinds of things. It just doesn't matter. And again, though, that goes back to the triangle. It doesn't matter what a Democrat does. If there's a D, people will vote for him or her. I was told by a security guard in the Atlanta airport once when we were filming Politichicks, this black gentleman told me straight up, he said, I don't care if I find out that Obama is a serial killer, I'm going to vote for him because I've voted Democrat my whole life. That's the kind of stuff we're up against. Democrats have one goal, to get elected, to elect Democrats. And our side we've got to figure this out somehow. Got to learn to repackage and remarket our message. Our message is perfect, but we don't know how to sell it, and we don't know. We've got to find the right people who will stick to those principles and not bend on them ever.
I agree with that, and you would laugh if you saw my house. It's a walking library, literally, because there's books laying all over the place.
Oh, mine too. Yep.
And it's hysterical. But I've got Peter Schweitzer's book, Throw Them All Out, is always right next to my desk. And he's one guy. He said it right. Just throw them all out. And, of course, the 10 or 15 or 20 that we really like, we could bring back. But we really do need to start over. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we really do. And your comment about term limits for president, that sounds great right now. But, I mean, if we get a great Republican conservative president, I would want him to. It's going to take longer than 4 years to clean up this garbage. But that's the only problem with that kind of term limit, is when we get a great one. I mean, we needed Reagan for the 8 years he was in there. But I don't know. But term limits for senators.
I agree with you on that.
I mean, for someone like Ted Kennedy to have been in office as long as he was, and it's not cool.
I agree with you.
And even Jesse Jackson Jr., who was literally in a mental hospital during the elections, he still won.
Being paid. We can't visit the White House now, but he's still getting paid.
Yeah, of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? Did you guys get to talk to Paul McKinley? By the way, he's running for office. He's running for Jesse Jackson's seat. He's a black ex-convict. That guy is amazing, and he cannot get the GOP to support him in any way. He's the kind of story we claim we love. He's risen up out of the ashes. He's made something of himself. They will not touch him. There are a lot of really great candidates out there that they will not touch. Dan Bongino, great candidates, and the GOP will not help them. That's a shame.
Well, I'd at the very least like to see these candidates be invited to the debate and allow them to have a proper primary so that the electorate can make the decision.
Yeah. There you go.
How about that?
Give us a little bit of a say instead of forcing John McCain or Mitt Romney on the American public. Let us decide this in a real way.
That's right. Well, Aunt Marie, it's been a pleasure having you. I'd love to have you come back.
Of course.
How about your website? And please give a plug to whatever you want to at the moment.
Well, it's politichicks.tv, and please visit our site. We're posting daily interviews from CPAC, and also I recently covered the David Horowitz Freedom Center West Coast retreat, so there are still interviews coming up from that, and it's an exciting time to be involved in politics. It's also a terrifying time, but we've all got to stand strong, and we can beat this if we all can unite. If we can be more like triangles. Politics TV.
That's why they make coffee and bourbon. Anyway,
and I'm drinking it right now.
Anyway, thanks again, Anne-Marie. It was a pleasure, and it's great to see you at CPAC. I look forward to seeing you at the next event.
Absolutely. Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you. Again, it's Anne-Marie Murrell, the National Director of Politichicks.